So, being a child of God, right? Being that which you are, right? We are all told that we are. That the first thing that he starts out with the book, he says, who is the you? Who are you really? Are you connected with your soul? Are you connected with your spirit? Or are you more connected with your personality and the shoulds of your life and the roles that you play in your life? And you've forgotten that true eternal self, that you. So he's talking, so who is the you, right? So then he reminds us that everything is energy, right? Grace is energy, spirit is energy, the world is energy. There's so much energy. And when you understand your you understand energy, and you're connected to it all. So I've been using our beautiful window here as reminding us of that, as we are this beautiful tapestry of the divine, and that the Holy Spirit and God and grace wants to just shine through us onto the world. And we can just be that beacon and go into the world, right? And we have our hearts, which are the energy centers, that can pick that up and then can just emanate it all out, right? But what we do is we take things that happen to us in our lives and we build the wall around ourselves. Now, sometimes it's a very beautiful wall, but it's solid, and we don't let the light come through. So what we're trying to do is to understand the mechanisms that we go through, in sort of like with a little bit of psychology involved in this. But you have to realize this book is getting the knowledge of somebody who has sat and meditated days on end, weeks on end, months on end, years on end, to listen to all of the stuff that went on in his head, so that he could give this knowledge to all of us in a language that we can understand from our daily, everyday existence of where we're at in our lives now, so that we don't have to sit that long, right? We can, if we choose to, can have the benefit of what he's saying. And what he's come to is, one of the things that he talks about is two things, which if you look and you read anything that Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, wrote, you'll see the same thing, because he did a lot of sitting himself. Or if you read the true stories of what Jesus was saying, it's the same thing. The path of unconditional happiness. How many of you heard, would you rather be right or happy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Would you rather be right or happy? Yes, right, but no, when you're in a situation sometimes, right? I'll be happy when I'm right. I'll be happy because I'm right. I'll be happy when you know I'm right. And this conditions on you were taught about unconditional love, right? That God loves us unconditionally, right? That energy is there, and that love and that light is there for us. But we don't understand that. We understand conditions, right? Our world is full of conditions. God bless our parents. They did the best they can, but they were full of conditions, right? Do what you're told, get a good grade, do this, do that, whatever the condition was in your particular life. Even if they didn't say it, right? We knew it was kind of there. Society has conditions. Who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to have, all the different things. And we put those requirements on the divine, and the divine doesn't have those conditions. And is not offering to us a life full of conditions. The divine is offering us a life of true grace, peace, and an understanding of our eternal nature and the gift that we are entitled to if we just tune into it and allow it to be in our lives. This world is not easy. It's hard. There's a lot of hard things. There's a lot of painful things. And we need to continue to travel through those painful things in our lives. But we don't have to do it alone, and they don't have to take us down. That's a hard thing for us to remember, because this unconditional path of happiness is saying, like, you can be happy. You don't have to like it. I can have the peace of God and not like what's going on, but I can still have the peace of God God. That means I can be full of trust. And I can be full of, that feeling, that love that's going to say, I can get through this. I can get through this. Because love is eternal. A lot of times our hearts break because we feel like those we love aren't with us. But when we love, that love is eternal. There can be no separation in that. And that's the idea of God's grace. There is no separation in that. And all the masters, all the saints, all those people that came to show us, there was always peace in their heart. My favorite show about the crucifixion of Jesus is Ben-Hur. Because Ben-Hur was this wicked guy, right? He was strong, he was vicious, he was out there, he would kill anybody. But when he saw Jesus in the crucifixion, and he comes back, he disappeared, then he comes back. He says, I can never pick up a sword again. Here was this man going through this horrendous situation, because he didn't know him, right? He said, and there was peace in his eyes. And there was no condemnation for anyone in the midst of that experience. Woo! Right? And we can have this peace, and that peace will give us happiness. That peace will give us joy. But if we stop putting conditions on everything in the way it's supposed to be, he says, unconditional happiness is a very high path and a very high technique because it solves everything. You can learn yoga techniques such as meditation and postures, but what do you do with the rest of your life? The techniques of unconditional happiness is what you're doing with the rest of your life is already defined. You're letting go of yourself. That personality self. The one that's saying the shoulds. It should go like this. We're very arrogant. We're very arrogant. We on a constant basis say, sorry God, not what you say should be happening, what I say should be happening. We do that. We do that. And I'll only be happy, God, if what's happening is what I think should be happening. We do that. He said, I never stop loving you. I never stop loving you. Over it and over again. So he's asking that this high thing is that as far as your spirituality goes, you're going to grow very rapidly. A person who actually does this every moment of every day is going to notice the cleansing of their hearts. We become pure channels. We don't let all of the things other people said or did to us stick to us. You saw the Post-it series we did as part of our series here. Right? They're also going to notice the purification of their mind because they're not getting involved with the mind's melodrama. You see it, you hear it, you know it's there, but you don't have to be brought down by it. There's a lot of melodrama going on. He says their Shakti, or spirit, is going to awaken. Even if they know nothing about Shakti, they will come to know a happiness that is beyond human understanding. This path solves daily life and it solves spiritual life. The greatest gift one can give to God is to be pleased with his creation. And he tells a little story in the book about, imagine God's coming down and saying, so what do you think of life? And you're like, well, you could have done this better, and you could have done that better, and we do that on a daily basis, right? God, please do this, God, do this, instead of saying, God, let me feel your love. Let me live in your love. Let me be in your love. So the next chapter then goes on, and he says, well, what we need to do now is we need to stop resisting. What happens? Let life happen. Life on life's terms. Life happens. Things happen to us. Hard things happen to us, but don't harden your heart in the process of the hard things happening. Keep it open. Like the meditation, relax. Yeah, your heart is opening, and then all of a sudden you feel some hard things because right away a thought comes in. Right? The thought comes in to block it, to block the love that's going in. Yeah, but the last time, and I can't trust them, and they'll do this to me again. But at what cost are you trying to protect your heart? The cost of not allowing the love of the divine to be present in your life. To not live amazing grace. So when stuff happens in our lives, the greatest spiritual thing that we can do is let it be. Let it be. It is what it is. Don't say, it is, and it's horrible, and it's always going to be horrible, and it was horrible last time, and it's going to, and we can forget it. Lost. Right? Lost. Let it be. Let it pass through. I know it's hard and doesn't feel good, but that's why you have spiritual buddies. That's why we have community. Because we can sit with each other and someone can sit right next to you while you're letting that hard stuff pass through. Because it has to pass through. This is not about denial. This is not about running away from it when we're stressed out about something and running away from it and doing something to preoccupy ourselves so that it's pushed down. We're pushing it in and pushing it down. Because then it comes back later on. Right? Something will trigger it. Now we are extremely upset about a situation that is silly. We shouldn't be that upset about it. But that was the catalyst that brought up all the stuff that we've been pushing down. So this path of non-resistance, this path of letting go, he says, what an amazing process life is. So what happened with Michael Singer and doing all this meditation, he wanted to get away from life. Brilliant man, I wanted to get away from life, and all he wanted to do was go into the woods. I'm going to go into the woods and sit in this property. He got a little van, and he's in the van, and he's meditating, just love meditating and wanting to do it. And life kept saying, come back. Situations kept going, you got to come back. You can't run away. You're here. You're here. You're a part of it all. And so he said, you know what? Maybe the true meditation is to really go into life and be a part of it and let what is placed before me be the spiritual challenge, the thing that I should be doing rather than running away to the woods. Because all of us know when we go away on retreat, all right? Or we're meditating at home and we're connecting to God, and we're great, right? We can do this unconditional happiness. We can do this non-resistance. But get us on the LIE during, traffic or something. Or you're coming back from a great retreat and you feel really good, and then you get a phone call from somebody, something happened while you were away, and now you're all into it again. So this path is really the most spiritual path, is to go into life. Let life be. And let's walk through it. And let's understanding the glory of it. Let what's happening ignite our souls, and let us be that fire, that grace, those lights of love and light that the world so sorely needs. There's more next week. Come on back, we'll finish it up.